Welcome to Shrouded Realities, the show where we dig into things that are probably going to get us off in the near future, because we like to talk about things like the CIA, JFK getting shot,
and Red 40.
Red Dye 40 getting in our system, and all the money they make off of our food production system.
And how the Nephilim's tied to all of it.
And the Nephilim is part of the major agenda that's tied to every bit of it. It all comes together.
You know, they say find a niche, so we just didn't. We just said all of it.
Our niche is everything's connected.
That's right.
It makes it kind of easy for us to just talk about anything that comes to our feeble little minds and put it out for the world to hear.
Correct.
But today we're going to dig into the CIA, where they come from, who are they, what they do, and should they be doing it?
No, I'll go ahead and answer it. Show over. Nope, they shouldn't.
Bang.
Done. Okay.
Yeah,
that was a quick show. See ya, peeps. So I'm on Steelman that. Are we safer and better because of the CIA?
What's your definition of safer and better?
Do you think that we should be overthrowing every government that doesn't agree with exactly what we want them to do?
Well, would they have overthrown us if we haven't?
No.
How do you know?
Do you think that we're stronger because we threw other people?
Hey, I'm strong man.
coming
I'm
out
still
hard.
man here. I don't necessarily believe the things that I'm saying right now.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But the question must be asked.
I agree. I think that there are times when maybe a government's getting a little too big for their britches, and we say, we'll be the people to handle that.
That's the problem.
I just don't think, why is nobody else doing it? Why are we the only ones that are like, oh yeah, we're responsible?
But we're not.
We're not responsible.
We're not the only ones. There's other little agencies all over the world that try to play their games.
Russia does it.
So
and MI6 does it, but they only do it at our direction. So
yeah.
And Russia does whatever Russia does. Russia's their own thing. But
what's the movie with the old dude? You can't handle the truth.
Few Good Men.
Few Good Men. Is that it?
Yeah. With Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, where he's like, I do the things that you don't want to know about so that you can sleep at night.
Yeah, so we're the ones that don't get to sleep at night because we're digging into the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
I was up really late digging into this stuff last night.
This episode has not helped my mental health whatsoever.
No,
whatsoever.
I'm just glad I'm not in one of those countries that's like got overthrown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can you imagine you wake it up, it's just fire.
You think so?
Just fire.
You think
outside.
you're in one of those countries that hasn't had somebody overthrown?
Have been overthrown by the CIA in the respect of a la
JFK.
I'm not saying in the sense of replacing somebody, but like burning the whole place down.
The only difference is we didn't have a political vacuum that sucked us up.
Yeah, we had plenty of
we had
backstops.
We had a backup.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a lot of big money that just over control. I found that was the thing that messed me up the most with this one was all the CIA directors from the very beginning they came from big money.
Old silver spoon in their mouth.
Old silver spoon just crammed right up that butt. But
so does that lead to entitlement? You think of like, we need to be forcing what our beliefs are onto another country? You think that that's where a lot of that comes from?
And like just from a personal level, not even an overarching organizational level, but from a personal level, just like I'm going to do what I want to do to make myself better.
I come from a means of being able to do whatever I want, so I'm going to do that still.
And now I found this niche into unchecked, unburdened power.
Yeah,
that nobody's going to try to check them on it. It's just like the CIA.
Here's my thought: before World War II, we didn't have a central intelligence agency, which started out as the OSS. So before that, the country's interests were basically based off the top earners. So you had the Rockefellers and people in that nature. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the government stamp of doing whatever they want, but they basically could do whatever they want because they're bringing in so much money to the United States.
Yeah.
And then World War II comes around, and it's like they get the government stamp to kind of use government power to, get their interest where they want it, while also simultaneously doing whatever the government wants as well. So it's like a double-ended deal.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just where it started, the deep state.
The deep state. Yeah, this was the deep state beginning.
Unelected officials
controlling
your interest abroad is what the CIA is.
And at home.
Well, CIA is not technically supposed to be involved in Homeland really at all.
They got the workaround for that.
Yeah.
Well, the FBI is the one that's really
Homeland Security.
Well, that's just so they could spy externally. They had to internally work through people.
I hope
here
those guys
to
got a
find
tax
out
credit
how
for
to-
being tested like that.
I mean, there's others other than just MK Ultra, and there's some that we need to dig really deep into, like the Project Stargate. We were talking about that a little bit ago, where they thought that they could harness the power of psychics and remotely view other countries. What am I trying to say?
You're trying to say what's that show?
They could remotely view enemies' locations. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
My brain
not using traditional technology.
Yeah, not using cameras.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
100% Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's where a lot of that came from.
Really?
And they can use telekinesis, supposedly, and there is some evidence showing that some of this might actually have worked. So that's interesting, too. Anyways, we're not going to dig too deep into that, but I just want to throw that nugget of our government spent $20 million to investigate psychics.
Yeah.
So that's just so everybody knows that.
Yeah, I
feel good about that.
This show is going to be like just sprinklings of different projects, different operations.
If you hear something in this show that you're like, ooh, I want to know about that, leave us a comment because we're probably going to jump into some of these. Some of these are crazy.
That's enough to just keep us going for a lifetime here.
Yeah, we thought that MK Ultra was like the coup de grace of CIA operations. Nah, it was small potatoes.
Small stuff.
And I think that's why that was sprinkled out. Like, here's some bad things we did in the 60s. Sorry. But it was really...
I learned about artichoke a little bit last night. Project Artichoke, which was...
That's gross.
I thought that,
artichokes are disgusting.
Artichokes are the worst.
It's the worst name for
Anyway, I mean, I thought that it was like something that preceded MK Ultra. No, it was a separate thing that tied into MK Ultra and went the full length of MK Ultra as well.
Okay, what was the basis behind it?
That was more of the hypnosis type thing was Artichoke. They were more into the hypnosis type thing. Interesting. I've got some interesting quotes from some CIA documents here.
Okay.
And they asked this in the form of a question. Can we get control of an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will and even against his fundamental laws of nature, such as self-preservation? ? That's straight from them. This is the one that, tying off of our last episode, that I really thought was interesting.
Yeah.
If hypnosis succeeded, assassins could be created to assassinate a prominent redacted politician or, if necessary, an American official.
Wow.
There is a redacted name pulled out of that.
Yep.
But
so the name was redacted.
A prominent redacted politician
is a prominent official. So like it says
pulled out. We don't know who that redacted official was, but time frame wise,
somebody's brains got redacted. That's true.
Somebody's
probably a president.
And we'll leave that. Y'all take it from there.
So playing off that little thread, we talked about it a little bit. RFK was tied in here somewhere.
So that's kind of where I was leading with that. But yeah, RFK was killed in 1968, I believe. Okay. So a couple of years after his brother. Some really weird circumstances. Same accusations of more than one shooter. One guy was arrested, still in prison today. Had two of the same names. It was really.
You know what's odd? It's like RFK. It's like he wasn't. I don't. To my knowledge, he wasn't as prominent as JFK. So it's like, why assassinate somebody?
In 1968, he was the leading Democrat official in the Democrat Party to take the presidency.
Okay.
So in 1968, when he was assassinated, he was the leading Democrat to take the presidency.
So they were preemptively doing.
They're like, nope,
they say JFK. So oh crap,
that's the theory. The guy that shot him, his name was Sirhan, which is Serbian. The worst. Yeah. That's the worst name ever. He's the one that was blamed for it. At least we'll say that. he claims that he has no knowledge of that happening at all. 13 bullets were fired. Audio forensic evidence proves that there was 13 shots fired.
Yeah.
The gun he had was a revolver that only shot 8 shots.
It was one of those movie revolvers that never run out.
Got a drum the size of a softball.
He's got a huge 13-round magazine. It's kind of strange. The wounds didn't match up to the autopsy, which is interesting. Again,
just like his brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers. So just like his brother. Hypothesis is one Manchurian Candidate because he's claiming he has no idea what they're talking about. He's like, what are y'all talking about? I'm not the guy.
Is he claiming innocence or is he just saying
he's still claiming today that he's innocent? He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not that guy.
It was just some hot dog salesman on the side of the street.
So they can't tie the bullets to his revolver at all that they found. They're like, well, yeah, we actually can't tie it to his revolver.
But he did.
But it only came from one gun.
Was this televised? You said audio.
There was recordings of it. I haven't dug into it deep enough to really give you the full deal. I'm giving you the spark notes of this deal.
So you're saying it's getting its own show?
Yep.
It should probably get its own show. I do think it's less likely that this was a CIA hit over his brother. I mean, his brother straight up.
CIA was dirty.
The CIA had plenty to do with that.
Because I mean, they probably had the same ideas about the CIA. I'm sure they had discussions of it.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
They're like, if this happens, do this, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and the CIA was already like, okay, maybe he's going to release stuff that is about his brother. He's going to
shut us down.
Yeah, so let's.
You know that scene from Office Space when they're beating up that printer. that's the CIA beating up the Kennedy family. That's what that is. They got, man, that family is cursed.
Dude, if your last name's Kennedy,
you just change it.
Go live on an island somewhere.
Yeah, you've got a target on your head just for being alive.
Well, let's get into the beginnings of the CIA before we go off on too many more tangents.
I've got so many tangents.
There's tangents.
I've got so many
tangent
galore.
Man.
It's going to be a tangent show. The OSS, Connor briefly mentioned it, the Office of Strategic Services started during World War II by Harry Truman.
Yep.
1947, and that was what was the reason why they started that? It was during World War II, obviously, but it was more of a intelligence gathering agency, and that was like completely all they were supposed to do. From there, when the Nazis?
I don't have as much on the OSS. I know that they helped get intelligence for a lot of the operations that we performed during World War II. They were the ones calling back going, hey, this is what we're seeing.
So this is weird right here. It says so the CIA was established in 1947. The OSS was before that. Before that.
CIA was right after World War II.
Okay. And then
they pretty much dissolved the OSS. Truman said, hey,
bring it back.
We still need some level of intelligence in the world.
Yeah, the OSS was the mustard seed of like, unchecked power.
Yeah. And
they realized how powerful it was.
Yeah, and from the very beginning,
luckily they made the CIA though, and they've got like no power. Yeah. They don't have anything they can do.
Yep.
Do you think it's interesting? I did notice that during my research that all of our stuff we can find is in like the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You never get anything.
Well, part of that's freedom. Part of that's Freedom of Information Act. There's a timeline before they'll release some of this stuff. So.
I guess because people are still alive who are involved in some of these operations.
There's like a 60
or the operations are still going.
That too.
Well, I mean, like Project Stargate didn't drop. They didn't quit doing that until 95, and they started that in 72. So
what was Project Stargate?
Stargate's the one where they were finding psychics. And so
doing the Stranger Things thing?
Yeah, doing the Stranger Things thing.
There you go.
Stranger Gang.
Skidalapow.
There it is.
And see that part of what you're saying, all the psychic, hypnosis, telekinesis, aliens, why is that tied to the CIA? Like even now, like probably like the most news we get right now is the UFO, the briefings and stuff like that. So why
should have nothing. Well, I guess it's not technically in our country, so their thought is like, oh, we need to spy on aliens. I don't.
How do you do that?
Well, you've got a socket. They can remotely view them wherever they're at.
Hey, we've got a contact that can tell us all about this.
Yeah, we do. We're not going to do it.
We're not going to do it?
No.
Come on.
She's going to listen to this and be like, dang it.
No, she's not listening.
Yeah, she's not.
She's on another planet, literally.
She's on the mothership.
She's on the mothership. Yeah, we definitely can't bring her on now. We're making fun of her pretty hardcore.
That's kind of why you think I didn't land on that immediately?
So full disclosure, we had somebody reach out to us that thinks that after they reached out to us after our UFO episode that said that she's been abducted all her life and she's a reincarnated alien sent to Earth to spread her message of
the benevolent beings,
and they created all of us.
And if you haven't listened to our UFO episode, we disagree with that completely. Possibly the benevolent word, we would maybe use malevolent.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. There's people out there. That's where our listener base is going. Is just that fringe.
Oh yeah. We're still finding a niche. Yeah. It's just a different type of niche we're finding.
We're casting a wide net, and we catch some strange fish.
We do.
A wide net, many holes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But the OSS, they got a lot of interesting operations too. I didn't really dig into it, but I know they have so many, tour operations against the Nazis. Like one of them that comes to mind was like when they were trying to expose Hitler to a lot of porn to like
dadgummit.
Like
that dude was on meth.
To throw him off,
That dude was on meth. Could you just imagine being like methed out and nothing but porn being pushed through?
Having ultimate power over
ultimate power. So who's going to stop you? Who's going to do whatever I want?
No wonder he did what? That's another conspiracy, isn't it? If he really offed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just never mind. I gotta win somewhere, and I'm not going to.
Sorry, Mom.
That's maturity.
No.
Just know that. That's maturity.
Well, I'll have to apologize to my mom because we didn't say it.
I didn't say it.
We just insinuated it.
Yeah, just think about where I could have went there, and that's probably where it was.
I know exactly where you went. Yeah. So I ran across Operation Gladio. This one got extremely interesting. It was a clandestine stay behind operation where they left a group of Nazi soldiers just, they said for defensive purposes.
Nazi soldiers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And CIA was all up in that. They couldn't get funding from the our government. Their funding comes from Congress. So, they had to start using mafia to sell drugs to fund it.
There's a lot of operations like this.
Yeah. Where drug money is just all up in it. And then this one shocked me the most. I mentioned it on the way in. To launder the money, they used the Vatican Bank.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So the Vatican had some dirty dealings going on at this point.
Yep. And it's a bank run and
how does that phone call go? You know what I mean?
Hey, Pope, I got some dope.
Hey, Pope.
Yeah,
I got some dope money I need to run through you.
Yep. They found a cardinal that would run the money through the bank.
It's a fly bird.
Wow.
Yeah. And that bank is unregulated. Like
it's like a Swiss bank.
They've got enough money that they don't need our banks to handle that.
No.
Yeah.
So it was just like the perfect money laundering front.
So that's similar to the Iran-Contra situation that was going on.
Really?
Yeah, the Iran-Contra, we basically backed...
It's a cool video game, by the way.
Yeah, Contra? Mm-hmm. It is, isn't it?
Classic.
We backed some right-wing rebels, and I want to say the government was like, nah, we're not doing that. So instead, they weren't going to fund it. So instead, we sold some weapons to Iran to give money to
the people
to give money to these people. Yeah. So we were funding Iran with weapons. They were funding this other deal that we were doing in Contra.
Mm.
Yeah,
it's like having two girlfriends.
Which everybody can see the writing on the walls. We've given all these weapons to Iran, which they in turn used against other people, which we're tied to because we gave it to them. And then we're funding this other civil war going on in another place to then get somebody in power that's going to further our interests, which Why do we care?
Can you imagine how
Why
much
do we
of a,
need?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much of a power trip that must feel like?
Sure.
Like the fate of these countries are just in your hands.
Yeah.
Like
you can muddy the waters even if it's with a little misinformation or here's some money.
Yeah.
We're going to let you destroy this other guy.
And you're already
they're completely in control of that.
You're already just the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
So like nobody knows what you're doing.
Mhm.
Also, like
you don't exist.
You don't exist. The operations don't exist. It's just in this one little world.
We did it in the 80s with in India.
Really?
Indira Gandhi.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that one?
Uh-uh.
So she was the first female prime minister, actually the only female prime minister in India to ever happen. She was elected in 62. She kind of went nuts in 75.
Yeah.
Declared a state of emergency, which was a martial law situation in India, because there was some Sikh uprisings. Sikh's a weird religion where you can't shave your head and you've got to carry like 5 religious totems on your body at all times. Yeah, it's a weird religion. But they were starting a separatist movement against her. So she gives martial law, and for 2 years, I think she imprisoned over 100,000 people.
That's a good sign.
Journalists, politicians, anybody that was against her. She was like, oh yeah, no, you're going to prison.
Yeah.
Then she started cutting cutting their willies off, and women sterilizing them because their population was too much. So in 77, they're like, no, we're not electing you anymore.
Yeah.
You're out. Well, quickly they forgot, and in 80, they reelected her. She was tied with communism in Russia and all of this. So our government's like, no.
Can't have that.
We're out. So we told her, we're like, hey, Operation Blue Star. That's what you need to do. That's what the operation was called. Where she went to the Sikh temple, completely destroyed their temple. This temple was nice. It was solid gold. And she completely destroyed their temple, killed hundreds of Sikhs. What's really weird about this is then she hired 2 Sikh bodyguards after she's destroyed everything that the Sikhs love and cared for. She hired 2 Sikh bodyguards who then assassinated her.
That was not smart.
Which automatically triggers me to go, that doesn't make sense at all.
Mm-mm.
Why would she hire Sikh bodyguards? Well, come to find out,
they were planted.
CIA was they had their hand all in this.
It's a chessboard.
Russia was giving misinformation to her. We were given misinformation.
They were just gaslighting her.
They say
that
Russia's the reason Operation Blue Star happened because of misinformation. We were funding the Sikhs, which were the separatist movement, to get her out. Then she hires Sikh bodyguards. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
And then they kill her.
Sounds like they were trying to do with JFK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they were just trying to feed him information about communism and all this mess. And then when he wouldn't listen, they were like, okay, done.
Yeah. But all of this is just so muddy. You've got to really spend time in any of these to be like, okay, what's our reasoning for this? Why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. Sometimes the reasoning sucks.
Yeah.
Sometimes the reasoning is this guy's a little more red than we prefer. He's a little too communist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, no, you're out.
Is there any operations where you think it was fine, it was okay for that to happen? Is there any where you're like, okay, I can see where that was going?
There is a back and forth of where I have thought, okay, historically, what would be different if this hadn't have happened?
Right.
Yeah, and that goes back to my initial question: was like, is what the dirty stuff that they're doing, was that stuff to keep us on the track that we're on today, good or bad?
Well, let me ask y'all this: do y'all think that our government would prefer to have a republic in these other countries or a dictatorship in these other countries?
Well, obviously they would want a country that sides with them so we can, extract resources from them at a very cheap cost.
So which side would you?
I'd say dictatorship because it's easier to control one person.
I think a dictatorship all the way. I don't think they want a republic where, like what we have, where every 4 years we vote somebody else in.
Yeah.
They don't want that. They want a dictatorship that they control. So it makes more sense for them to go install some guy that they like.
Yeah.
That's going to be more aligned with our stuff. And then you only got every 30 years, you got to worry about somebody doing something different.
Yeah, year 25, it starts to get dicey. He starts losing his mind a little bit. Starts offing citizens like, okay, bud.
Calm down.
We gotta go.
Well, according to what everything the CIA does, like, who cares about the citizens? Like, it's
Yeah,
They don't care about citizens.
no, it's about the big, the main objective, which is to.
It's their governments they want to handle.
Yeah.
It's scary because a lot of these people don't even care about money. Like, money is not even an object.
I disagree. I think
You don't think that?
I think the money is the flow, especially
Well, I guess
especially now with the military-industrial complex.
Well, maybe rephrase that. Maybe it's the power of the money. It's not so much the money itself and the number in the account. It's the power that it can acquire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it's power more than
because if you have $100 million, it's like you have $100 million. But if you have the power to change the direction of a sovereign country,
yeah,
with a snap of your fingers, I think that's more powerful than $100
Well, I think
million.
that gets into a deeper point of, does money bring power or does power bring money? Which one, because they're kind of tied together in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because
which one's what?
Because like, what is the CIA directors just like? How rich are they? You know what I mean?
Oh, they're rich. They came in with money anyway,
right?
So they didn't take this job for the for the promotion.
Right.
They
so that's where my thought comes in. Like, it's the power thing. It's not the money
Yeah.
thing. They already have backing of money.
Yeah, and they want their family members to be a part of it so that they're
Because like once you hit that threshold of
in
like
control.
we have so much money, it doesn't even matter. What's the next step?
right. I guess that's it. Just controlling the world.
Yeah.
Which we're doing.
Enter the deep state.
Let's just go ahead and say we're doing it. We're 100% controlling the world. We tried to do it in Vietnam. We're like, we need to overthrow them. So we went to an entire war over it.
Yeah.
And lost.
That didn't turn out too good.
Yeah.
It's almost like JFK had something. He was like, maybe we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
See where that got him.
Yeah.
We have no business being the world's police.
Mm-hmm.
My personal opinion, I don't think that it has helped civilians in that country in any realm at all. I don't think it's helped us too much. I think it has in some instances, maybe.
Mm-hmm. You don't
but
think
as an overall, no.
You don't think it kept the status quo?
No.
At all? Like, do you think we would be where we're at?
Maybe partially.
Relatively unattacked,
Here's the devil. Well, that's, 9/11. Devil's advocate here.
Don't say it out loud.
Devil's advocate here.
Old devil,
If the CIA,
Devil Connor.
don't say that. If the American institutions of these agencies aren't the acting, power hand here.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a vacuum, who's taking it? Someone's gonna take that place, and it's like, do we want a outsider or do we want someone who uses the is under the United States in quotation marks, obviously
seal of approval?
Yes, you know what I mean. So if it's not the CIA, it's gonna be some other foreign entity.
You think so?
It's got to be.
You think so? The running theory is that if we hadn't have done all these things and communism would have ran rampant through the entire world, Russia would be us. It would be Russia that was doing this.
Yeah, they would have had the KGB doing all this instead of the CIA.
So, maybe you didn't see the wall fall. Maybe you didn't see some of these things that happened. Cuba would be redder than, Oklahoma. Yeah. Redder than the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
It would just be nothing but communism through the entire world. Yeah. I struggle with that a little bit. Maybe it would.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, it does seem to pop up.
Yeah.
Communism does. But I don't think that it would have just taken us over. I don't. I think that we were fighting it, but maybe there's better ways to do it than what we're doing. Maybe I should say it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole we need to play puppeteer of everybody in the entire world, including torture, including Project Northwood, which we discussed a little bit, where we're gonna do dirty things to our people as a means to an end. Anytime you say there's a means to an end, I automatically get a red flag of like, nah, probably not.
Because some innocent body's dying.
Yes, somebody is going to go through torture for that to happen.
Yeah.
And the sole purpose of the federal government is to protect its people.
Yeah.
And when you've got the CIA in the background, behind the scenes, behind the shroud,
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Under the shroud, baby.
Yeah, under the shroud.
Living under it.
Doing dirty.
Just looking up.
Doing dirty things. That's where the whole system just crumbles apart.
From the bell tolls.
Because that segment of the system that's designed to protect us is no longer protecting us.
Exactly. And if you're going to do something, I understand if you're bombing Normandy tomorrow, tell me on Monday.
Yeah.
Don't tell me today.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But don't hide it. After a certain point, you got to come clean about it and say, okay, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Truth is the answer to a lot of these questions, just like the JFK thing, just like the RFK thing. Give us all of it. Don't give us redacted this and pull from that. Don't play that game. You start doing that, and then you've got a problem.
I think the government is literally just that thought. What's it called? The thought process of the train coming, and you got 2 tracks. It's like either it's going towards 5 people, but you have the ability to change the tracks to just kill 1 person.
Yeah,
That's basically the whole thought process of the U.S. government.
And in the realm of world building, which is what we're in, you're going to run into those instances where it's save 1 or save 5 to, for 1.
Yep.
I get it. There is some of that exists, but maybe not as often as we're making it.
Possibly.
I think we may be making it worse of where was it in Bolivia? We went through in 1964. We completely got rid of their leader, which left a vacuum of leadership, which then initiated a military dictatorship for the next 30 years. That sounds horrible. If you're those people in Bolivia, you've got a military dictatorship for the next 30 years.
I wonder if some of these operations
somebody overthrows it. Finally,
I wonder if some of these operations, did that to create like a pocket of agitation for any foreign country we were fighting with at the time, like creating like a distraction so we could do more stuff behind the scenes while they were dealing with this cyst of issues.
I think that the information that we have is not all known.
Yeah.
So we're having to put pieces together and a lot of this stuff and go, oh, okay, well, they're doing this because of this. They're doing this because of that. And then the truth's somewhere else of what they're actually doing.
Let's take a quick break.
Let's do that.
It's about time for a quick break. Let's do a quick break. And then when we come back, I want to dig in some names.
Okay.
We probably got some more projects and operations to get into too. Just to sprinkle the nuggies, just to throw it out there.
The McD Nugs, baby.
Lumumba.
Crisp.
Chris, what was that goofy name you said before?
Trendy Aguas.
Yeah.
No, you said Trendiddly Aguas.
Trendiddly Aguas.
Trendiddly.
It's a real thing. Look it up. Not the diddly part, but
they're coming for your apartments.
That's where they're coming for our cats. They're coming for our dogs.
Well, now that's the Haitians.
Was it the Haitians?
That's in Ohio.
Okay.
Ohio is for lovers. Okay.
Yep.
Our recent history is weird.
Brain rot,
you think people 40 years from now are going to be doing podcasts about what we're living through?
They're going to be talking
right
about things that we're seeing right now.
Yep.
Yeah. People eating dogs and cats and ducks and
A reality show host was the president
twice.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
It's wild.
They're all reality shows, honestly.
Yeah,
it is.
Or stars.
It is.
Go turn on the news. It's all a reality.
They're all actors. Some of them are from the CIA. It's true. Or at least training.
ShroudedRealities.com. Go check out all our cool stuff.
Freaking right. I mean, go check it out.
Yes.
Shrouded Realities. We got information about us.
Got a little blog. Did you ever put anything on a blog? You talked about writing a blog.
I didn't.
I wrote a blog, and I'm like, you know what? I'm 42 years old. I'm not writing essays anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoy it.
So I don't get it.
AI,
I kind
baby.
of enjoy it.
AI.
But
yeah.
the problem I have is time. Time to write a blog. That doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah, we talked about getting into the blog game and writing a blog.
If y'all want to,
that's so 2004.
If y'all want a blog, send us a comment, send us something, and I'll might try to do something.
We put our heads together.
I'll just write haikus once a week.
That would be great. We're gonna do little haikus once a week.
We do want to get on Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, X. And that would be perfect.
Just haikus.
Conspiracy theory haikus
by Connor. Conspiracy theory haikus by
and then
Connor
when it's over,
just whisper
by Connor from Shadowy Realities.
In the darkness of time, Nephilim Period.
Period.
Yep.
Period. Shroudedrealities.com. We've got a store on there. You can go get you some, get you t-shirts.
Get that swag.
Get you some swag. Hey, I'm gonna name it and claim it. 2025. We're gonna step up our t-shirt
It's
game.
gonna be.
Yep.
It's gonna be a thing.
I was checking out some other podcast websites.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Is the t-shirt game.
Absolutely. You got to have a solid t-shirt.
We've got a t-shirt right now.
We got a t-shirt.
But it's the OG. It's the
But guess what?
classic.
It is gonna be classic.
When they're gone, they're gone.
Yep.
They're gonna be gone soon.
And they're limited edition.
yeah.
Because I just said that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they're limited is because we have a limited quantity. And
Yeah, because we may or may not ever do that one again.
may or may not. We're not. We're not going to ever do that one again.
Yeah, we got to do some cooler
We got to
stuff.
do.
Some more creative stuff.
We got to keep up and just like we're doing on this production level.
Hey,
that we're
but
doing.
you buy it now,
Love it.
so it's worth more later.
I was about to
That's
say.
right.
Yeah.
We'll even sign it.
And that actually, boom, put this back on the listener and the viewer, puts it back on y'all. Once y'all start buying those t-shirts, we'll have more capital put towards
That's right.
other t-shirts.
That's
Yes.
true.
So we got to work through the first stuff, work
That's
through
right.
the first run, help you boys out. We'll take that money, put that towards more
And
t-shirts.
if you don't have the money for a shirt, which I understand, the economy sucks. It's a
Yep.
bad time. Groceries are ridiculous.
You got student loans. I get
Yeah,
it. I
student
don't.
loans.
I
They
don't.
never got forgiven.
Yeah, they didn't
Yep.
get forgiven.
Thanks, Joe Biden.
Thanks,
Yep.
Biden. But
Stick it
all
live.
these
Counts.
things happen. But we have another option for you, and it's a big deal. This other option.
4
is.
payments on a firm.
That's right.
We ain't got that firm. I'm not doing a firm. What are we going to do? I seen that on one of them. I was like, t-shirt for $30 and they're offering payments.
Oh yeah, no,
Is
that's the
that
thing.
how bad we are?
Yeah, people
As
are
a society?
people are so bad off.
You can
that
do payments.
CIA, come on, guys.
You can do payments on a pizza.
we're overthrowing governments. We're taking over entire worlds. But you know what? We're so bad off here that we can't even buy a $30 t-shirt. But we do have options.
Without payments.
We've got our second option on our shop is this little piece of paper.
Tell me about
And
this.
it's got a logo on it, and it's
Yeah.
our logo. Which, if y'all hadn't seen our logo, which you have because you're watching this video, but if you haven't, it's what it is, and it's got this little sticky adhesive on the back of it.
I'll put a picture right here.
Yeah,
I'm going to try this. I've
blip
never done
it.
this before. Right here.
right
Boink.
there.
Right
There's
here
gonna be a
is the
picture.
picture
I'm
of-
holding it right here.
Yep.
Look at this.
Okay.
That's gonna be weird if you can do that.
I want to do
Anyway.
it.
It's got our logo on the front of it, and it says our name. And you can peel this piece of paper off the back of it, and you can stick it wherever you want.
Anywhere.
Put it on your turkey.
Put it on a laptop.
To. Put it on a laptop.
That's
Put it on a turkey.
Yeah, leftovers.
That's
I mean,
gross. Why you
yeah.
gonna put it on a turkey?
This is 3 weeks
I don't
later,
know.
so I mean, put it on your Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Give it. It's a
that's right.
great stocking stuffer.
Dude, it would be good. Yeah, you put it right there on the little Christmas
Do you
present
know
on the
how
wrapping.
do you know how
We should have
you-
made ornaments.
Shroud Reality's ornaments.
Yeah.
That's next
Do you
year.
know how you indicate to your family that you are the smartest person in the room?
Mhm.
You put a Shroud of Reality sticker.
Either the smartest or the smelliest. I don't know which
One
one.
of the
yet.
two.
Both.
Yeah, you either stink.
Not both. Not
Yeah,
either.
Yes,
but both.
yes, and the smartest and the smelliest is you go, hey guys, I've got this Shroud of Reality stickers.
Yeah.
I'm informed.
Yeah.
I know things. It's
Hey,
a big deal.
Speaking of the shirts too, and our logo, we got our logo in a publication.
What?
Yeah, we got.
Oh, you're telling us about this now.
I'm telling the world. I've already told you. We got the. I sent you the little screenshot.
I don't remember this.
Somebody sent me a picture of their shirt and was like, "Hey,
In a
look,"
news
and it
article.
was in a news article on. It
Oh,
was
was
something
that,
to do with,
was that
like-
the volleyball thing?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't
thought
see.
it was something
I didn't
to do
see
with,
that's
like,
what it was. I
yeah.
thought you were just sending me some weird thing
No,
about
it was,
volleyball.
that was in a, that was
It's
in
a
a
boomer moment.
yeah that
Yeah,
was
I
in
was
a
like-
news.
I was like, cool, man. Volleyball. I don't know what
Cool.
you're sending me this
It
for.
was your shirt on one of the players.
I didn't see it at all.
Okay.
I read it as
Dang
an
it.
FBI raid.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back into
Let's
it.
get back to the CIA.
With the
Let's
CIA,
overthrow this conversation.
instead of
Yeah.
taking drug money and funneling it through the Vatican, like help the citizens out. I feel like they're just a money suck. Like unless we can say that they're completely keeping us safe.
Yeah.
Through covert operations, they take a lot of money. I do like though.
Well, they do really important things. I'll let you get into that.
I do like that they are looking for their own funding.
And they're being really creative about
even if
it.
it was dirty, at least they're not taking tax money.
They're
and
like,
doing
you know
all-
what? No, we're going to do it.
Would you
Even if the-
support them if they had like a lemonade stand? It's like
I can give them 25 cents for a cup of lemonade.
Just a couple dudes in the suits.
No, they're not lemonade. They're using Colombian Bam Bam.
Hey, you probably wouldn't want to buy that lemonade because it's probably full of LSD.
That's full of fentanyl.
Then you're going to be stuck in a brothel somewhere in front of a two-way mirror.
That was the only thing that they gave back to the American people was drugs.
A good time.
Did y'all hear
drugs and a good time.
Did y'all hear what they did when they couldn't find like somebody that they wanted to dose?
Mm-mm.
They would go find a heroin addict on the street and be like, "Hey, how you feel about taking some drugs and going and having sex with a woman
for free?"
For free,
dude.
And do you know what we offered them after that?
More drugs and more
heroin. We said,
"Go get yourself a burger."
The only person that wins is the drug addict. He gets a free night in a brothel. That's the nicest way I could put that. And some LSD.
He definitely voted in the next election. That's for sure.
Hey,
Mom.
let me go ahead and tell you what was right here on the tip of my tongue was not a free night in a brothel.
Brother. He's like, it won the lottery.
Thank you for keeping this PG.
I could have went 13 or R real quick with that
Yeah,
one.
appreciate that.
17R.
Even the name of that operation was borderline at best.
What was it?
That
Midnight.
was Operation Midnight Climax.
There it is.
Climax. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Could you imagine being the guy that had to study that had to be on the other side of the two-way mirror?
When I heard he was coked out too.
Oh, he was all about it. No, he liked it. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's what. Dadgummit, I gotta go to work today.
Yeah.
Gotta go watch some drug addict bang.
Easy.
Dadgummit.
Imagine some of the gross stuff he had to see though.
Yeah.
That's probably
Man.
why he was
In the 60s
doping
and-
himself up.
The 60s and 70s, man. That was a wild.
Stop!
That was a wild time.
Don't do it. I know where
That
you're
was a
going.
wild time.
No, I know where you're going. Don't say it. We'll say it after. We'll say it after for
Who was
the
the
Patreon.
CIA director at that time? Was it George Bush?
Was he? No, 70s.
You didn't catch on to what I did there.
See, I'm
Bush.
trying to get us past that point where you're getting gross.
I was talking about the CIA director.
George.
I
Yeah.
wasn't tying that to anything else.
Well, to answer your question, good segue. I know you're being a perv, but he was a George H. Bush in the 70s was CIA director. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that until literally before this podcast
Yep.
started and you said it.
Guess what he did before that?
What's that?
He come from oil money.
Yeah, he was a rich
Mm.
oil
Old
baron.
tycoon over
He was
here.
an Oil baron.
I bet if we dug into every CIA director, you would find that they come from a lot of money.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Even the first one.
which is I think that's
Is that Donovan?
Wild Bill Donovan.
That's
Wild
right.
Bill.
He had
Yeah,
he had a lot of blunders, by the way.
Yeah, he said he sucked. They said he was the
He was
But
the
it
worst.
still
worst.
worked
He was
for
the
him.
He wasn't
OSS
even
guy.
good at it.
He got fired, but still worked for him.
No, that was Dulles that got fired and still worked for him.
No, Donovan.
Dulles was the Bay of
JFK
Pigs
guy.
guy that
Yep.
got pulled into the Warren
He had
Commission.
Nazi
Okay.
affiliation.
Yeah, Wild Bill was. They say, yeah, I didn't hear a whole lot on it, but they say a lot of his blunders was like he forgot about agents that he put out in the field. Could you imagine being an agent in some
You call up, you're like, hey, I don't know you.
some Lebanese government go like just infiltrating it, and then like, hey, I need to check in.
Who's this?
Sorry,
New
Yeah.
phone, who this?
new phone. Who this?
Who dis?
Who this?
Hey yo, who dis?
God, that would be the worst.
Yeah.
It
How
was.
stressful would that be, being a director of the CIA?
Apparently not too hard if you're the richest people in the world and you
Maybe.
want that job.
I mean, I guess you could get out of any bad, you just get fired.
The only people you
Think
have to
that-
answer
You don't get
to
arrested
is
for
the-
anything. You just
Yeah.
get fired.
You just gotta, you're not gonna get arrested. You can do the shadiest, dirtiest thing ever, and they'll be like, "All right, well, you don't do this anymore."
So you better
Slap
go.
him
You better,
on the hand.
you better go retire.
Well, they give
You
him a medal.
better
They give him
retire.
they give him a medal and a ghostwriter so they can get a book written.
Yep.
And then they can retire.
Yeah, because they didn't have enough money to begin with, so now they can retire. So it makes sense.
Sad.
You know
Sad
what-
life.
you know who just retired not too long ago?
Who's that?
Fauci.
Oh darn, man,
Weird.
that's a loss. That is a significant loss to our country.
I just tossed new COVID.
You know, he was
COVID
such
softballs over here.
He was such a blessing to our country. I mean, he said that you could get AIDS by being in the same room with somebody who's got it.
The highest
He
paid
tried
government
to-
official to
He
ever
was
be.
he made some good money. He sucked at throwing baseballs.
Oh, God.
He was awful at that. He wore a mask. He wore 3 masks. But anyway, it probably wasn't a CIA thing at all.
Yeah.
No.
Do you think? I mean, I know where most of us stand.
It was all in it.
But
Softball.
Softball. Because he couldn't throw the baseball.
That deep state. How does it look today versus 70 years ago?
The deep state?
The deep state.
Muddy.
7 years ago?
70.
Gross.
70 years ago. 70 years ago, I think it was just gaining traction.
Yeah. It was just a bunch of powerful billionaires.
Yeah, and they were all finding each other. And I do think that was a big
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, like, hey, we can tie into this food industry. We can tie into
These other countries,
this
developing countries.
war machine. Hey, did you just see how much money I made in World War II?
Yeah.
I made a ton of money. And then they all get to talking at
Maybe
the
we
Bohemian
need to get
Grove.
our hands in
Bohemian
all this.
Grove ties.
Oh, there
Yep.
it is. Oh,
Oh.
yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And they all come together and they get drunk and pee on trees and
Yep.
shake hands.
What was
and
that? What were you doing right there?
Is that a Muppet?
Peeing on trees.
Is that how you pee on trees?
That's how aliens pee.
This is what they did on the weekends after the party was
Yeah,
over.
that's what I thought. Your brain was telling you something else.
Yeah, my left
This is
hand,
hijinks.
my left
Low
hand
jinx.
just went dirty. Yeah.
Yeah. Your brain knew that you wanted to say something different and you started doing it.
And my left hand said it. Sorry, Mom. Yeah.
You think it's the same now? The same.
I think it's worse.
No, yeah. It's
I mean,
way
like
worse.
the same type of people.
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
I mean, I think it's still wealthy people.
I think these
that
are the
just
grandkids
doing
of
what
these
they
people.
want.
Yeah.
But now it's way worse because these small agencies that they were have grown to very large agencies.
These tumors.
Every year,
Mhm.
they just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and more unelected people are making bigger decisions and running what you're doing in your life every single year. It's just
Yeah.
bigger than it was last.
I do think, in a way, it's harder for the deep state to operate and do what they do because of platforms like this.
Yeah, I do. I think that is true.
There's a lot more ways to expose the shenanigans. Because, I mean, think back in the 60s, what'd you have? You had your newspaper come to your front porch and
That was controlled.
Tom Brokaw at night for
Yeah.
30 minutes. And it was all, and like you said, that was controlled. The media was controlled. Oh, speaking of, segue, Project Mockingbird was a wiretapping operation in 1963 where they were infiltrating the journalists and media.
Yeah.
And
I think I'm seeing that now, even in the independent media a little bit. The independent media is starting to go the way of the dinosaurs a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that they're
What do you mean by independent media?
independent, us.
yeah,
We're
Okay.
independent media.
Gotcha.
I would say that
YouTube,
we're as
podcast,
independent as it gets.
Yeah.
We have no dependence at all.
zero. When the show when we get rich, or you'll see our show change. That's when you know we've been infiltrated.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been infiltrated.
We all have nice haircuts.
Let me ask you that question. Let me
We're
ask
not
you.
gonna do
Let me
that.
ask you that question.
Is there a
I
price?
had that thought. Yeah. What if we get a little email says, "Meet me under the bridge."
Unknown.
Unknown. Yeah. Meet me under the bridge at 9:00 at night.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say?
If the devil says he can make you play guitar real good, you going to go down there and sell your soul to him?
Absolutely not. I'm not.
Same
I'm not
difference.
selling my soul. Well, I guess we
Yeah, you
would
are.
be.
You're selling out your
Your morals.
truth.
And
You're
I'm putting
selling
it out
out
there.
truth.
I'm not saying that I would.
Right.
I'm just asking the question. What if?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: if you've been contacted, like you've got eyes on you.
Yeah, if you've been
No matter if you say
contacted,
yes or no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, try not to get in trouble here. I know people that know people
that knew somebody
that
once.
do things that they can't talk about openly.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah. So,
Are they making human spider analogs?
so if those people were to come to me and say, "You got to stop," not only for financial reasons, but like you're gonna get off at a gas station type reasons.
Gonna make it look like a bad robbery.
Yeah. I mean, would it change?
Did
We're
they
gonna
say
have to-
something to you?
What? Yeah.
No,
what
I
are,
mean,
what
they
are you
did. I just
doing
had that-
right now?
I just had that
Are you
thought.
telling me not to go buy gas when
I
this
just
is
had that,
over?
I was going to.
I just had that thought. We're digging into some deep stuff here.
We are. We're no deeper
We're
than where a lot of people
exposing-
have been, though.
We're
so
exposing things and having opinions about things that those people wouldn't want us to say out loud.
Well, they've overthrown governments for less than what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
They've
Yeah.
overthrown
Just
entire
because they
countries.
didn't like the way somebody
They
acted.
didn't like it.
Yeah.
If they've got somebody that's a little bit against the way the U.S. wants them to think, oh, you're out.
So do we need to like publicly say we didn't suicide ourselves?
Just so you know, I have no problems with. I'm not I'm mentally competent enough to not kill myself right now.
Yes.
Yeah. I love my family. I love my life.
The only way that it
It's
would
not
happen
happening.
is if I was going to do it. Let's just back up. If I myself, I've already thought about this, which is weird, but I would.
When you get into this world, though, it gets that way.
If I was going to do it myself, the only way I would do it is I would get a piano wire and a noose, super glue my hands to my face, so then it looks like I pulled my own head off.
That's gross.
God, this is a Halloween decoration.
That's the only way I would do it because there's some humor involved in it.
Yeah.
Super clear hands to your face.
So it looked like I pulled my own head off.
Did you come up with that on your own?
I don't remember where I heard that, but I've heard that before.
It's like a Norm Macdonald joke.
That's sick and disturbing.
It is, but
hilarious.
it would be funny though.
It would be fun.
And I would play Another One Bites the Dust on a loop.
Just instrumental.
Yeah. You would walk in. If you walk into my house and you hear Another One Bites the Dust going on, you're going to just be worried about it. That's the only time I'd listen to it.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I would almost want to see that. That'd be hilarious.
Would it not?
It would be
That's the only way
in the
that I would do
sickest,
it.
darkest way.
That's the only way I would do it. So
Okay.
if
Would you have a
that's not
surprise?
the,
But you wouldn't do it. Publicly say
I
I
would
wouldn't
not
do it at all.
period.
ever.
Right.
Okay.
I have no wishes for that.
I have no
at all.
ambition.
Okay.
Zero ambition for that.
Okay.
But that's how I would.
So do you think we shut the whole show down if that happens?
No.
Man, you're a brave man. I don't know.
Well, right now when I have zero pressure on me, no.
Right.
If I had pressure,
Yeah.
maybe a different conversation. I don't know.
Some guy under a bridge says, you better stop. We'll give you money to stop.
Stop that
right now.
First problem is you're meeting a guy under a bridge.
Yeah, that's your first
I'm
no-no.
not going to meet a guy under a
when's
bridge.
that?
At nighttime. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
You know, that's how the...
I've met people under a bridge before, and they were looking for a rock. That's what
Yeah.
they told me. So
What kind of rock?
I didn't ask.
One of them crystal meth.
It was crystal meth.
Man.
Yes, so Alan Dulles, apparently his brother was in on it too. They were deep into it. Both crazy loaded. Oh, I heard another name. Frank Wisner. The Wiz Wisner. Frank the Wiz Wisner.
Why's everybody got a weird name?
Sounds
Yeah.
German.
Wild Bill.
He was
or
one of the
Wiz.
He was one of the founding officers. They said he was so rich growing up that he didn't even have to dress himself.
What?
He was that spoiled.
What?
He was that spoiled.
So he didn't put his pants on the same way you and I did. It
No,
was that kind of situation.
He had a servant come do that.
Yeah. Come put my pants on.
Yeah, this is something I want to dig into. Even though he was that kind of guy, suicide by gunshot
Makes sense.
at the
In
age
the
of
back
50
of his head.
at the age of 56. Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah, there was a lot of that going on. But he was under he was right before Dulles.
Yeah.
Did
And Dulles, we talked about him all through the JFK episodes.
yeah, Dulles was all in it.
Yeah.
He was fired after the Bay of Pigs,
Mhm.
then brought back into the Warren Commission after JFK fired him, which is
Yes.
odd.
So and this was months after.
Yeah.
So it was odd that he was still that
It
close.
was a year. It was a
And
year
Dulles
out-
was not a
year and
fan.
a couple of months out.
Dulles was
Yeah.
not a fan of Kennedy. Not
Not
a
at
fan.
all.
Not a fan.
Well, especially after he fired him, and
Yes.
then he
Yeah.
denied Project Northwood. Operation Northwood, he was like, "No, we're not doing that,"
Yep.
which would have ticked him off even more because that's
Had to
how
been
they
his
gained control.
brainchild.
But do y'all know where the term conspiracy theory came from? I meant to say this during our last
Yeah.
episode, and I
Mhm.
didn't.
Hey, it's a perfect chance.
The people that created that term and made it the dirty term that it is today,
Mm-hmm.
CIA,
Yeah.
during the JFK stuff.
Mm.
That's when they created
That was
it.
the first use of the term conspiracy theorist to make people that think they were questioning the government,
To make them look like
make them look
idiots.
kooky.
Yeah, make them look like these guys are crazy. These are crazy conspiracy theorists. Then
Mhm.
none of this is real. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're tied into the conspiracies just from that.
Yeah.
The fact that they would even have to create a term to do that is crazy to me.
Do you got any more operations?
Oh yeah, I've got them for
Get-
days over here, man.
Shoot us a few of them.
Of course, we've hit on Operation Midnight Climax. I touched on the Brazilian coup a little bit. That's a long one though. That's yet again. there was a leader who we didn't like, and we tried to work with him. Robert Kennedy the guy's name was Django. That's what everybody called him.
Unchained.
Was it? I was just asking if he was chained up or not.
He was a Brazilian president from March 1964 is when he was assassinated. But which ended the Fourth Brazilian Republic, which lasted from 1946 to 1964. And then it brought a dictatorship, a military dictatorship from 1964 to 1985.
You know what I've noticed?
That's a long time.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like there's less world leaders being assassinated.
There's recent attempts.
But like in the 60s and 70s, it seemed like it was like once
we were on just
a
like,
freaking roll.
Yeah, we just had the freaking
We were hitting
communist
jackpot.
vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the communist finger on the trigger, just like kaplow.
Kablow.
But
you're a comic.
so
Couldn't even get the word out. Yeah.
we actually tried to work with this guy because he really wasn't the bad communist as much. He had people in his administration who were anti-U.S.
Yeah.
who were had more communist tendencies. So we tried to work with this guy a little bit and be like, hey, stop. Just do what we're telling you and you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Which is ridiculous, but whatever.
Yep.
He asked for $250 million, which is a large amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
We said, get rid of the communist in your cabinet. We'll do it. We'll give you the money. Well, he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, Robert Kennedy actually went to see this guy because he was the, what was he at the time? Robert Kennedy was the attorney general at that point in the U.S. So we go over. Robert Kennedy literally passes a piece of paper over to the guy he's with. He's like, this conversation is going nowhere. That's where the guy asked for $250 million. We were trying to tell him, look, chill out on your communist crap and we'll talk about this. Well, he said no. Then, of course, we're like, not going to give him the money. Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, was working on a solution to solve this problem. He was like, no, we're not just going to go blow this guy's head off. Let's work on a solution. Come to find out, then Kennedy got his head blown off. So who took over right after that? Lyndon B. Johnson.
LBJ.
What did he do? Said,
blew his head off.
kill him.
And
Get rid of him.
Started a vacuum in their government for the next 20 years.
And we stayed in Vietnam the whole time too.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, Lyndon B was all in that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was all about the Vietnam stuff.
Yeah.
We actually weren't in Vietnam before him, I don't believe. And then that carried over into Nixon. And Nixon was trying to pull out. And then CIA got involved in Nixon a little bit too, from what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And they set him up.
That's a future show, by the way.
That's a good future show.
Yeah.
I started digging into that last night, and I'm like, I got to turn this off. I've been doing this too long. But 4 of the people that broke into the Democratic convention or the Democrat headquarters, all CIA agents. All 4 of them.
Convenient.
4 of the 5 were CIA agents. One of them was like a CIA director at one point. Like all ties to the CIA. Yeah. So that's another conversation there.
Yeah.
But CIA is great. It's fantastic. I don't think that we've got any problems with them. FBI, that's the ones.
Yeah, I feel like they're the brown stain in the pants of America.
They're the world's police. We're the FBI is our police.
Yeah.
They're the doo-doo stain of America.
The security state.
That's the deeper of the deeper state, I think, is the FBI.
Deeper than the deep state. Wowzer.
I think that they're in it.
Really?
I think that the FBI is the dirty doo-doo stain. That's dealing with
Not even a
us
stain,
directly.
it's a lump.
So they're the
Because they've
CIA,
got all the power.
That would make CIA the pea stain?
They're the pea stain. They're,
Okay.
they're
we're
number
the
one
bed.
stain.
We're the bed that
That's
they're doing
right.
it in.
That's right.
Let's end it on a poop joke.
It's just natural. That's the way for us to do it.
It is
That's
natural.
true. Good night. Maybe we won't get off on the way home today.
I hope not.
Well, my car is a
like
piece
you
of
were
crap, so it's gonna kill me anyway.
See, you're setting them up. You're giving them.
Yeah,
You're giving them
that's
ammunition.
whatever. It is what it
It
is.
is what it is.
I feel like you were trying to tell us something in some weird, like,
And then I'm gonna die.
backwards
Like
way.
he told us.
in some weird backwards way. He was trying to be like, don't meet this guy. He's already contacted me.
I do want to say I love the United States. I love my country.
Me too.
Yep.
I've got the American flag on my shoulder, tattooed. But
we need some sunlight in these issues.
Yeah, this stuff's gotta be brought to the forefront so it can stop or not happen as much.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, keep an eye on it. Keep it in front of you. For Steven, Connor, Ruby, the podcast dog, and Joey. She's just lazy. I don't even know why I bring her anymore.
She's just chilling.
But anyway, appreciate everybody listening.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.